Hey, it's Ryan Gordon. We've done a couple of these SDL2 to SDL3 videos now. We did one for Quake 3 Arena, we did one for Dirk Simple, and I figured that would probably be good enough. But since I made those videos, we have shipped SDL Mixer and SDL Net in their 3.0 versions. And those are not simple conversions. You have to migrate to them the same way as you have to migrate from SDL2 to SDL3. They're brand new APIs built from the ground up to be better and fix a bunch of problems. So I thought I might do a video with that. But for that, I needed to have a project that was both needed to move from SDL2 to SDL3, but also needed to move SDL Mixer and SDL Net at the same time. And I just happened to have one of those projects. There's a port of the video game Doom from the early 90s called Chocolate Doom, and it's called that because it's as close to vanilla Doom as you can get but still be portable. So they tried not to change much, but they wanted to give it a little bit of flavor. I love that. So and if you were to look at their bug tracker, it turns out they are looking for SDL3 support. So hey guys, challenge accepted. I'm gonna give it a shot. Like every other video, I'm going to be repeating myself, so if you've heard some of this already from watching the other videos, I apologize. But we have on the wiki this beautiful document right here, the migration guide, and this thing will tell you everything you need to know about moving from SDL2 to SDL3. And you can read this in the source code as a markdown file, but you get it with all the pretty syntax highlighting if you look at it on the wiki. And it'll give you all the tips. It'll tell you basic things to change, some code examples, everything you need. And I gotta tell you, this is a very long document. It goes through a lot of details. There's a lot to know. We don't necessarily expect you to read it all. We mostly expect you to just, find keywords in it and see what the deal is. But we're going to keep that nearby like we do for everything else. There are also migration guides like this for both SDL Mixer and SDL Net. All right, let's get down to business here. Let's see how we do. Okay, I have already checked out the source code to Chocolate Doom, so we don't have to wait on that. And I've also already run the semantic patch file, which, if you have not heard about this, basically it's a little program you run over the source code, and it'll make a little unified diff that looks a little like this, or exactly like this, that basically says here are the mechanical changes you need to make to get from SDL2 to SDL3. And it's a lot of like, we had this thing, it was named this, we renamed it this. This could be hours of work if you're doing this by hand. This script will take care of a lot of the mechanical things for you. It won't take care of everything for you. You're definitely going to still have to do some work. For example, it added this fix me in here, which I'm sure we will run into in a little bit. But a lot of the mechanical stuff it will take care of for you. So we'll keep an eye on that. Okay, let's get down to it. Let's apply that patch. Chocolate Doom. SDL3 patch. Cool. Touch some files. That's good. Very nice. Okay. Let's just build the thing then. Let's see. I see CMake. Okay. And it looks like there's also a configure script, but we'll just go with CMake because that's the modern thing, right? Okay. I do my builds in a directory called BuildBot. You don't have to. It's a historical accident. I call it that. Make build, build type equals debug. Let's just see if it works, I guess. Well, that's a promising start. That's good. Okay. Okay. Okay, well, yeah, obvious problem one is that I can see already that it doesn't know what this thing is, and I can tell you right now that's because it's looking at the wrong headers. Let's look at CMake real quick here. SDL. Okay, we definitely don't want to do that. Yeah, okay. It's looking for SDL2, and I assume it's going to look for SDL Net 2 also. Okay, hang on. Let's just... Oh, wow. Okay. 230, did that say? 238 references to SDL2. Okay, what do we got? Okay, well, this is easy. Let's deal with that first. CMake. These things here. Find SDL, find SDL2 Mixer, find SDL Net. They're gone. We don't need them. Those are for old and busted SDL. We're just going to delete those. Goodbye. gone. Yeah, okay. Alright, well, that took about half of our references away, and the rest are mostly looking like makefile, cmake, some preprocessor defines maybe. Yeah, okay. Alright, we're going to do this the cheap and easy way then. Perl -w means your warning, pi means whatever I do, change it in place here as I operate on files. With this one-liner, okay, SDL2, change it to SDL3, do it globally if there's more than one on the line, and let's just do it to every file we see. What could possibly go wrong here? I think that'll skip the Git directory, right? I don't know. Let's hope it does. Okay, we're just going to try it. What could go wrong? It's fine. All right, yeah, I can see already that it, changed some stuff here. That was a wide net to cast, so I wouldn't be surprised if this broke some things, but we're just going wild with it. Okay, yeah, we'll read through all that later. Let's not waste our time on it right now. I did see in here when I looked at that diff. Obviously, you don't want to look for this version of SDL3 because it won't be version 2 ever, but I'll make that 3.2.0. All the official first releases of SDL3 and friends are 3.2.0. There's a reason for that, even though you'd think it would be 3.0.0. It's not. That's okay. All right, we also want to... Let's just turn these off. Let's just try and get the SDL3 port done, and then see if we can live without the net and mixer part. And then, if this takes forever, we can do them in a different video. But let's enable SDL3 net, enable SDL3 mixer. All right, let's do that real quick. Also, find SDL. We don't need these anymore. I saw that in the diff too. Okay. Save. Yeah. Okay. Let's nuke our build bot and just do it again. All right, what do we have? CMake, blah, blah, blah. Let's add those extra defines here because we don't need that in our lives. False. And then enable, whoops. Definitely not the button I meant to hit there, sorry. What was it? Yeah, okay, there we go. Sorry about that. Mixer equals false. Oh. Target chocolate setup links to SDL3 main. That's bad. We can't do that. Source cmake list, blah, blah, blah. SDL link libs. SDL3 main. There you are. Yep. There is no SDL main library in SDL3. There was one in SDL2. It's a single. It's a I don't know what they call it. A single use header. A standalone. Oh my gosh, I'm having. You will note that it's 1 in the morning when I'm starting this, so as I tend to forget things. A single header library. That was the words I was looking for there. I just could not quite pull that out. Okay. So you don't need this anymore. We're going to have to add an include at some point for full portability, but we'll deal with that later. Right now, let's try this again. You don't have to delete your build directory every time you do something like this, but I like a good clean setup. Just make sure I'm getting it right from the start. Okay, I like that better. Let's just build it and see what explodes. Everything explodes, of course. Okay, let's look at this way so we can actually, maybe... Ninja, our build tool. Okay, same problems we've had in every other one of these, is that this is how SDL2 wanted you to include SDL, but in SDL3, we want it to be like this. Not quotation marks brackets, and also in an SDL3 subdirectory. The reason for that is, one, you can if-def this much nicer instead, whereas include SDL.h is might cause you problems. SDL... Oops, where'd you go? There it goes. This also helps you with Mac frameworks. It's just the way that Apple wants you to include things. It was easier just to acquiesce on this. So let's see what we got in here. Include grep for SDL. How many of these do we have? I'm in some subdirectory. Let's see. 52 of them. Okay. All right, you know what? Perl to the rescue again. Let's do it. If you see, include... I don't know if you need all these escapes, but I like it, so we're doing it. Oops. There we go. If you see that, then replace it with include escape bracket SDL3, SDL.h. And that should do it. And again, find blank type F. And I'm in the wrong directory, so let's do like that. Did I screw that up? Yes, I did. I forgot to put a thing in there. There you go. Okay. Let's see if it worked. All right, I can see, yeah, okay, it fixed these. That's good. It didn't fix them all because they have a couple places, like we didn't mess with SDL Mixer. And we're not going to yet if we don't have to. Yeah, these are all in disable things. All right, let's fix that one up. So you can include things that aren't SDL.h. That's totally legal and valid. Come back, where'd you go? Okay, include, like SDL.h though, this is SDL.h. It literally just includes almost every other header. Not all of them, but the vast majority of them. And it's generally pretty fast, and, you know, it's usually just simpler to do that. But if someone wants to, for some reason, have a subset, you're totally welcome to do that. All right. GameController.h is gone. It's now called Gamepad.h. Same idea. We just picked a different name for what we call game controllers. As I can see, we're going to be doing it here, too. But... you know, I'm here, I'm just going to change that word, because who knows if we'll catch that later. Head button. Okay. Mixer we're skipping. SDL OpenGL is actually one of the ones that is not included by SDL.h, so we'll leave that one in there. Okay. Generally speaking, you don't have to be like, oh, this is just for Indian stuff, so let's leave this, you know, let's include just that. Usually it's just honestly safe and reasonable to just include SDL as a blanket include. Oh, man. All right, hang on. Got that. Again, this is now gamepad.h. It also would have been nice if this was in some, like, oops, unified header where we could just have included this once and not had to change it in 20 places, but that's okay. All right, key code is included by this, so let's just nuke that. There's no reason to have it included twice. Likewise with joystick and gamepad, if they're going to do this to the main base header. Mixer, thread, likewise for threads. Goodbye. Goodbye. Cool, cool, cool. Okay, there. Headers should be sorted out for now. We'll have to worry about like SDL Mixer and net later, but let's see how it builds now. It built some stuff. What did it build? Oh, there's errors. Okay. 588 source files to get this through. We're gonna, you know what, let's do this with a Ninja J1 so we don't get a whole bunch of stuff except for the things that fail, which come up right away. That's pretty good. Okay, let's see. Too many arguments to function get current display mode. So the other nice thing about the wiki is you have the migration guide, but also you can punch in any function name and it'll give you documentation on it. Every single function in SDL3 is documented this way. Every single symbol in SDL3 is documented this way. We've gone very heavy on the documentation. All right, it is in fact too many arguments to this function because it only has one now. It's display ID. The old function, yeah, would fill in an output here, but now we just give you a pointer to a thing we own, so you don't have to fill it in yourself. So desktop info, it's called display mode still, right? Yeah, okay. Desktop info, I don't know, we might change that. We'll see. Yeah, okay, so desktop info, cool. Yep, desktop info equals this. If not desktop info, if there was a failure, just give up and go with the default. That's fine. So the other thing is that this number in SDL2 was an index into an array of display modes, but this is actually a display ID in SDL3. Yeah, like this, which is a unique identifier, and it's not an index into an array anymore. Now, 0 in SDL2 was always the primary display, which is what they're going for here. And so I'm going to let you know also, we have man pages. The neat thing that generates these wikis from the comments in our headers also generates man pages. There it is. And also, you know, LaTeX and stuff too. If you want to print a book of SDL documentation, be my guest. The book would be over 1,500 pages long. It's going to be a very heavy book. But anyway, that's how you get it in SDL3. You don't need to go fancier than that. So let's go ahead and just say SDL get primary display, and that will give you the ID you need, and you're good. And if that fails, whatever, cool. All right, is there anywhere else we use desktop info? Moving on. Okay, that's no longer a struct, it's now a pointer. I always wondered why C decided to make that decision, where it's like, I'm sorry, you can't just use this for everything, and we know what you mean when you have a pointer. It's got to be like that. I'm sure there was a good reason. I'm sure there still is a good reason, but I'm not really sure what it is. It seems like a syntactic thing you could have solved. All right, let's see where we are. Well, I solved all that. That's good. All right, create renderer. So create renderer only takes 2 parameters now. This was nice enough to change the -1 to a null. -1 in SDL2 would have said, give me whatever you think is the best renderer, whereas now it's null because instead of an index, you just give it a string. I would like the OpenGL renderer, or I would like, you know, metal or whatever like that. But if you don't care, it's a null, same as -1 over there. There is no flags to it anymore. These are handled in different ways now. For example, you can't say I would like one with vsync, because you can just create the render and set the vsync on it. Furthermore, I can see this is going, oh, if we didn't get the renderer we want with vsync, just fall back to a software renderer, which seems like an excessive jump from vsync, but you don't need to do that anymore either. If it can't set up a accelerated renderer, it's going to try a software rendered one, so you don't have to ask for it specifically. So that flag's gone, and the need to call this twice is gone too, so boom. And if the renderer didn't work out, return 0. That's fine. They wanted one with vsync, so we're going to call SDL set render vsync. Is that what we called this thing? Yes. Okay. Set render vsync, capital S. I don't know if I like that or not, but that's what it is. 1. If this fails, we don't care. Just go on. This fails, we don't care, which is more or less how we were treating this before. In SDL3, I don't know what it was. I don't know what it was in SDL2. In SDL3, vsync defaults to off for everything, because otherwise you get complaints like SDL's so slow, it'll only run my game at 60 frames per second, when in fact that's just it syncing to the refresh rate of the person's monitor. So we set it to off so they can get their 4,000 frames per second by default and not bother us. But honestly, it's almost always better to turn it on. It's almost always going to give you a better experience, so we're turning it on here. All right, cool. Moving on. Invalid type argument of blang. That is true. Okay. So I should do this in the browser. It's going to be prettier. So SDL surface, because yes, that's right, we document the structs too, not just the functions. This used to be a whole structure. Now it's just like an enumeration, basically. More or less. It's complicated. So you cannot do screen buffer being a surface. You can't do format palette, because that is not part of format anymore. Palettes are separate, and as you can see from here, not listed in here. They're hidden behind this opaque pointer that we use for internal magic. So we have a function for this, SDL get surface palette, And then you can set the palette colors for the palette that belongs to this surface. And everyone's happy. You do not need to lock the surface to set the palette color, so I'm going to nuke that. Maybe you had to in SDL2. Maybe they're just being overcautious. I'm not really sure. So that should solve it. Okay, good. So no more madness there. Not mad about it. Oh, another one of these. SDL get surface palette. I can never remember if palette has 2 L's or 2 T's, so it's going to power through it. We're going to make it happen. All right, we got rid of this hint because we actually built an API around doing this correctly. SDL set. The nice thing, by the way, we have one of the headers that is included with SDL.h is called SDL old names, where it will catch all the SDL2 symbols that have renamings and change it to a ridiculous symbol like this. SDL hint render scale quality deprecated. Use this instead. So you can see right in your compiler error message what you should do differently. Use SDL set texture scale mode. Mode screen TX, that's the thing they just created, which is why they wanted this hint. Goodbye. Oh wait, what did they want? They wanted linear quality with it. Okay, so SDL, come on, scale mode linear. So anytime it tries to draw out that texture, it'll use linear scaling. So good, easy. Passing argument 4 of render texture from incompatible. Yep, it's true. Almost everything in the renderer now uses a floating point rect instead of an SDL rect. Yeah, SDL rect is integer rectangle. Frect is, of course, a floating point rectangle. Dun, 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 dun. So now we just need to go through here. What's get dest rect? Get dest rect. And that's the only place it's called. That's great. Okay. So we'll just do frect. Why not? Get current render output size is actually integer, but so we'll just do this. Float. Let's make sure that order of operations doesn't bite us here. Yeah, okay. Float, and float. Okay, that's easy. We just change that to a different type, and then we can render that texture. So the reason for these are floating points now is so that you can have most, if not all, of your rendering operations on floating point values, so you can do sub-pixel precision. So as this texture might be sliding across the screen, it doesn't have to pop pixel by pixel. It can use the GPU for anti-aliasing to do it in between 2 pixels, and it'll kind of blend a little bit between them as it needs to. It just looks a little nicer, you know. And, you know, you can always just truncate these to integers if you want to pop between them with, like, you know, a really, like, precise 2D grid. You can do that. That's fine. Okay, let's see, where are we here? Oh, yeah, my bad. Oh, I forgot to change this too. I'm getting ahead of myself. Passing argument 1 of get mouse state from incompatible pointer. Let's get our migration guide, because I don't actually know. What is it? SDL get mouse state. I'll use floating point mouse positions to provide sub-pixel precision on platforms that support it. Are they saying we don't have it, though? Oh, it was just saying the function is there. It's just it was an incompatible pointer type. Because these also take floats now. Float fx, fy. So we'll just do fx, fy, and then we'll equals. This is for the same reason. Like, you might have a retina display that's scaling and you can go between the pixels or whatnot. So that's useful. But, I mean, you know, if the mouse position has to clamp to a pixel, it's not the worst thing in the world. I don't know that we necessarily have the capacity to notice the difference. So I think for Doom, it'll probably be fine. We're just going to truncate to an integer. I think it'll be okay. Let's see, where are we here? Unknown type name, SDL keysim. Did you mean keymod? I did not. Okay, we did this on probably both the videos, but I remember this being a thing that came up a lot in the Quake 3 one. Keyboard event. So the keysims are the keyboard event moved around a little bit, and it's easier just to pass the event itself instead of the substructure within it, because a lot of those things are now top level in the event. So let's just look for sim in here. Like scan code's on the top level of the event. Event is no longer called sim, it's now called key. Alright, that was easy enough. Translate keysim. It's not called keysim anymore either, but that's alright. We're just gonna let it ride for now. There you go. Just give it the event instead of the whole thing. Okay, good. Hopefully that'll work. Get key from scan code. This key presumably maps to a scan code that is listed in the translation table. Find which mapping, and once we have a scan code, we can convert it to a virtual key and then string via SDL. Alright, so get that. Oh, okay. So get key from scan code. How does this work? Scan code, mod state, and key event. And I think they probably are just trying to figure out what the heck is on the key. Sure, I guess so. Okay, we'll just do that. It's fine. That should localize it, right? So they have the scan code. That's I. Yeah. Okay. Then modscape. Excuse me. Mod. Is there a none? Yeah. Okay. Mod state. We'll just say, like, pretend nothing is held down. This is just the key by itself. And key event. True of the key code will be used in key events. I think that's probably a false here. That should do it. Too few arguments to text input active. Expected one have 0. Declared here. Oh, it needs a window. Okay. Well, we have a window. You can see in the function right below it, so. Boink. This now functions in SDL3 per window, so you can pop up a virtual keyboard on the window that needs it instead of just globally if you happen to be on something that needs a virtual keyboard. Or needs an IME and you want to know what window it should be attached to enter text that's more complicated than you can do with just simple key presses. And text input active was actually the thing I was complaining about. That needs one too. There we go. Cool. And we're done with that file. Apparently we're building Heretic now. That's fun. Chocolate Doom supports several games that were based on the original Doom engine. There's Strife. That's another one. Oh, okay, here we go. We got something. Setup joysticks. Oh, I can't believe this is the first time I've hit one of these. Okay. In SDL2, when you had a function call, almost all of them returned an int, and if it was 0, or apparently greater than 0 in some cases, then it was a successful function call, and if it was -1, it was a failure. It's a very Unix thing. We changed this to be a very Windows thing, if people have argued. Does not equal false. There we go. I guess. Joystick and knitted. What? Joystick and knit. It's an int. Okay, that's fine. SDL3 uses booleans, and they use the C99 boolean or C++ boolean if you're using a C++ compiler. So if you're able to include SDL3, you might as well just say false like this. Okay, so joystick and blah, blah. So this, if it hasn't failed, it returned true. But better say if it's true. Yeah, why not? Since this is an int, we're just... Well, that's just going to be a boolean, so let's just do that. Or, well, yeah, I don't know. I'm kind of a stickler for type safety, so we're just going to do that for now. Uninit joystick. Yeah, okay, fine. Yeah, because this is not true and false. It's an integer they're using as a boolean. Also a very C practice. earlier C practice. People are starting to frown on that, but you know, old habits die hard. Aren't I right, C programmers? Okay, let's move on here. All right, let's see. Implicit declaration of, oh no, num joysticks. Okay. I think I covered this in previous videos, but we used to have a lot of functions that were like num joysticks, num displays, num gamepads, num whatever, and that would give you a count, and then you would, you know, ask for joysticks or whatever based on index within that count. So if it gave you if it gave you 2 joysticks, then you could ask for info on joystick 0 or joystick 1. There's 2 of them, right? That doesn't work that way anymore. This was not a good system for a couple of reasons. One, this would redetect joysticks every time you called this. So if you called it in a loop, you could have a disaster. But the other thing is that int count equals 0. SDL, what are we doing? Joysticks. Joystick ID pointer sticks equals SDL, what do we call this thing? Get joysticks. And it can take a parameter. If you don't care about the count, because this array it's going to return is null terminated, that might be good enough. But if you want an actual number, you can ask for it here. Otherwise, just pass a null, and that's legal too. So the thing I was about to say, and before I started typing all that, is that if you ask it for num joysticks, maybe 1,000 years ago when you started your program, and then later on you reference it, but the user has unplugged a joystick, that array you're indexing into may be invalid at this point, or there may be confusion and hilarity may ensue. But and we took steps to mitigate that, but it was better just to have a better API. So this will give you your own copy of an array of the current list of joystick identifiers, different from an index into an array. So if a joystick gets unplugged and you're still holding on to one of these values, when you try to use it, it'll just politely fail. It won't crash the system or anything like that. And you own this array, so you can hold it as long as you want. It will not change once it's returned to you. You don't have to worry about joysticks getting unplugged. That's just what it looked like at the point where you called this. So is less than count. It is also worth noting, I don't know where joystick index comes from, but that's the next time you ask for this, that index could not be valid anymore. So you're still going to have that problem in this game until they redesign this. But I'm afraid this might be attached to a CVAR where they save it to into a config file for later runs of the game, and then we're going to have some problems. But we're just going to go on with this as it is for now. We're not here to redesign. We're here to migrate. So there are probably more places we need to deal with this, but let's see. Get device ID. I think this function's wrong too. Yeah, okay. Joystick get GUID. It's not called that though. It's called, what do they call this? Get joystick GUID for ID? From ID? Alright, wow, I got it right on the first try. It's the last time that's going to happen to me tonight. Get joystick GUID for ID, and that takes a joystick instance. Okay. So this is going to need to be sticks. It's going to be, because it's still an index into an array. It's just an array we just made ourselves right here. That's the function we need, and it's just that, and it returns GUID. I think this is the only thing in SDL that returns a struct. I don't know why. I don't know why that decision was made or why we only do it here, but that's how we did it. Okay, cool. So we have that. That's working. That's good. I see we call num joysticks in a loop, like I just said down here. So let's just keep our same one. Count. Let's keep that same array, although we do need to free that array. So if we're seeing an early return, let's free out. This one's going to do it too. And we'll stick one at the bottom, just in case we end up there. Okay, so blah, blah, blah. This is the same thing as up here. Just same line exactly. So, oh, well, not exactly. It's got an I. So that, but this is I instead of that. Okay, good. All right, easy enough. That's them getting a GUID. Everyone's happy with that. Oh, Lord. Here. I see there's more of this. Okay. Set joystick button label. Okay. What is this trying to do? Alright, well, we're going to do the same thing. Oh, it was right below this. How nice. Okay, I'm going to do the same thing again. Except we'll do it down here, because why query this if we don't have to? Oh, I see. Label is in, like... I don't know. Whatever. Label showing the name of the current... Why do they have button there? That's fine, whatever. Yeah, okay, so is less than count. Then GUID equals string to GUID. I think that's actually valid. We can do that. Although we don't have to do that here, do we? Because that's not going to change. Breaking my rules. Moving this up here. That's fine. Yeah, because they declared it up here. I don't want to get into a whole like redesign thing here. It's fine. It's fine. All right, def GUID equals. Here comes this thing again. Get joystick ID for this. Sticks. Just a lot of GUIDs floating around here. All right, good. And they do the same thing. Joystick name for index. Surely that's not going to work. Get joystick name for ID? Let's see. Yeah, alright, good. And it returns that. We don't have to free that. Okay, good. But we do need the ID, so we have to pull it out of sticks. There we are. That'll do that. Set button label. Okay, cool. Joystick button to name, I guess. If it works for them, I'm happy. We need to free sticks. There's no returns in here, so we can just do it right here. Sticks. Good. Oh, good. Another num joysticks. There's a lot of these. Open all joysticks. Oh my god. Okay. Same deal as before. I'm just going to go steal that code again. I have a feeling they're declaring all their variables at the top because this is meant to be compiled as like C89 code or ANSI C code. So we will not declare variables in the middle because we're just going to be nice about it. No. But just in case init joystick is calling SDL init and this won't see any joysticks until you do that, we'll do the actual get joysticks call down here and have the variable declared up here. And everyone's happy with that. Fine. Okay. Done, done, done. And this is going to open every joystick. Okay, cool. But this needs to be sticks because we got to give it an ID to open it. That part's all going to work, I think. That's going to be good. There's no returns in here. We can just free sticks down here, right? Or maybe, actually, let's just free it there. It's fine. And then that's fine. Yep, that's good. Sticks, cool. All right. Hooray. All right, is gamepad. Oh, see, fix me migration. This is something the semantic patch script put in here, the CoSNL script. Check for valid instance. It's nice it warned us on this. Okay, SDL's gamepad is a thing. Get joystick instance from index is what the CoSNL script stuck in here. This function does not exist anywhere. Calibration event callback. Okay. Hopefully this is not super expensive, but we'll do this thing again. Where's open all joysticks? There was where we split this out. Did it like this. Okay. So down here, because we want the variables at the top, even though we might return early, then we'll do this. And then, is this a gamepad? Sticks, joystick, index. I'm a little nervous this didn't check if that count was legit. let's do this. If count is greater than joystick index and that joystick index, which is now safe to dereference this with, is an actual gamepad. Okay, I think that's good. Oh, I got another migration down here. Same thing. Okay. Get gamepad type for ID equals sticks joystick index. So we have the actual joystick ID instead of an index. Yeah, sure. Okay, good. Okay, and then we can free this sticks again, because I did this. Let's do it down here too, just in case. Sure. Okay, yeah. Is known joystick. I'm looking at that and saying, we're going to be doing this again, aren't we? Get joystick type index. Oh, Lord. Okay. I'm just looking through to see, like, can we type? It's used in multiple cases. Okay, let's just see if it blows up then. Known joysticks. Oh, at this point it... Oh, okay, this is okay. This is actually an index into the list of joysticks that they opened already. So that will stay stable, even if the joystick fails or disconnects or whatever. That's safe. We can go with that. So I think we're okay on that. Is known joystick. I think we're okay on that. With the index in here. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Okay. Good. 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 Yeah. Okay. Main menu.c. Passing argument create surface from makes integer from pointer. Oh, okay. Hang on. Okay, so this function still exists from SDL2 to SDL3, but we changed, excuse me, we changed the order of the arguments from, it looks like it was pixels, width, height, pitch, format. But now it is width, height, format, pixels, pitch. That sounds kind of catchy, right? Width, height, format, pixels, pitch. These are a few of my favorite things. Okay. So let's go width, height, format, pixels, pitch. Width, height, formats, pixels, pitch. And you don't stop. Beautiful. Okay. Oh, and this still has one up here somewhere. Hang on. Is it like this? Yeah, good. Width, height, format, pixels, pitch. Sing it with me. All right, good. Create surface from is good. Okay, so that should fix that. Hey, and that got us through the file. That's nice. SDL event has no member named C-axis. That is true. It's now G-axis, because it's no longer game controllers, the C. It's now game pads. So we went with G. G-axis instead of C-axis. G button instead of C button. That's fine. Okay. Maybe that's all there is to it. Hey, there we go. Unknown type. Yes, that's true. Yeah, okay. Game controller is dead. Long live the game controller. We now call it gamepad. And that got us through it. That's beautiful. Hint Windows disable thread naming. Oh, yeah, this is gone. So this used to be... the way you name a thread for debuggers' use on Windows used to be super weird. You had to, like, manually trigger a magic exception that the debugger would notice and use it to name the thread. And that caused problems, and things that wanted to catch those exceptions and then didn't know what to do with it, like the .NET interpreters and stuff like that. So we had a hint so you could turn this off so it wouldn't cause that problem. But I think the exception way we found a better way to handle, I think, but also newer Windows also introduced a real API for naming a thread so that the debugger didn't have to do this disgusting magic. So the hint's gone. So we just don't set it. Oh, and hey, there's no init timer anymore, so this function now just does nothing. Hooray! Goodbye. You don't have to call SDL init timer. It's not a subsystem that needs initialization. It's not like trying to sniff through your audio hardware or anything like that. Okay, cool. Oh, more of this. Do this again. SDL keyboard event. Same thing as before. Just look for sim. That can be event. And that was it. Event scan code. Okay. I can see there's another key sim right below here, so let's do it to that too. Get localized key. Oh, and that calls translate key, so that's easy. Event. Event. And sim is now called key in there. Yep. Cool. Get typed char. Let's do this one more time here. And this also wants to call translate key. Okay. Also wants to do this. Key. The following is a gross hack, but I don't see an easier way of doing this within SDL3, SDL2 API. In SDL1 it was easier. We want to get the fully transformed input character associated with this key press, correct keyboard layout, appropriately transformed by any modifier keys, etc. So peek ahead in the SDL event queue and see if the key press is immediately followed by an SDL text input event. Oh my god. I'm saying oh my god like what a ridiculous thing, but this is not the first program I've seen do this, and it's not the first program that I have written that did this. In SDL2, we said, okay, no more of the SDL1 Unicode field in a key press, where it would say, this is what we think the key character is, because in one key press can produce multiple characters, and lots of other things can go wrong. So we split out from key presses to key presses and text input events where it might be coming from, an IME or something, or just more characters, whatever like that. And the problem is that caused problems for things that really, really like the SDL1 way of doing things. So we have, let's see if I can get this right. Was it best keyboard practices? Yes, I got it right. Okay, on the wiki, we have a document called Get Best Keyboard Practices, which is totally worth reading at some point. But there's 4 approaches to how you use a keyboard in SDL or in video games in general. And there's the 101 button joystick. That's your key down events. You WSAD to move the guy around or whatever. And then there's the specific key, like press I for the inventory. There's a way to get that with key codes. There's the chat box, which is where you want to do text events, because Unicode is hard. That's a different thing. And then there is what these guys are running into and what SDL1 provided, which is what we call the text editor. If you were using Vim, VIM, the text thing, and you pressed Z twice, it's a very different response than if you pressed Shift Z twice. So you to control the thing. So you might need to know specifics of the key press that's down, even though this is not a good way to build a text system that's localized. Sometimes you actually do need this functionality. So, and as you can see from their example, I got a key down event. I'm going to use this magic function that's going to take the position of the key on the keyboard, the modifiers that are held down, and some other stuff, and it's going to say, okay, we think that this key press and the modifiers will produce this character. Show me the money. I don't know why the example says that. I think a nice Jerry Maguire reference every now and then is delightful. I don't know. Okay, so this is what we need. And this basically more or less gives you the SDL1 functionality they're complaining that is missing. Doesn't work, blah, blah, blah. So we're stuck with this as a rather fragile alternative. Not anymore, my friend. So we need to know the event scan code, scan code, the modifier, which we have, event mod, and I do not know what this last function does. You're not going to give me a link to this thing? All right, fine. Get key from scan code. Key event. True if key code will be used in key events. I guess that's false. It was false in the example. We're not going to pass it on as a key event. I wonder what that does. I'm going to ask about that later. Anyway, so now, and that gives you an SDL key code. So there you go. If the text, they're looking for a text. Oh, geez. Come back. Okay. They were looking for a text event. They don't need it. But when they got that text event, they were looking for if it was one character and it was low ASCII. Single, okay, percent null character, then the unshifted key. Okay, and then they return that if that's what they had. So we'll say, I need a key code here. Is that what it was? SDL key code. Yeah. Key code equals that if key code is less than or equal to 127. I can't ever remember. Hexadecimal's the worst, right? 0x80 is 120. Yeah, okay, so they want 127. Okay. I should have known that. I don't know. Less than or equal to 127, we will return that key code. What does it actually want? An int? Okay, we'll cast to an int. Why not? I see Doom does not do brackets there, so we'll do it like that. Okay. So that giant block of code and that massive explanation and apology is gone. So we've already made a massive improvement to this. This is good stuff. Get type char. I can see all this stuff down here. What on earth is this? Let's see. Oh, okay, it's not an SDL, this data 1, data 2, data 3 thing. This is not an SDL event. This is a Doom event of some sort. So let's get rid of keysim, because we just want the keyboard events on this thing. There might be others of these, but they will... Yeah, there's another one. They will... The compiler will let me know if I missed any, so that's fine. I can see this is going to need a window. I'm just scrolling down seeing that. I don't know what we use for a window here. What do you use for a window here? Well, I see two of them. Let's go ahead and assume it's screen. So, just for now, we're just going to assume this. And we're just going to cheat, and we're going to... It was static to this because this was... start text input took a global before, and now it wants a specific window. So we're just going to cheat and make that a global variable. I don't know what HR screen is yet. We might need to come back to that. I wonder if that's like high resolution. Oh yeah, okay. Hex and startup loading screen. Let's assume we don't need that then for now. It says loading screen. I don't know. I'm going to put a fix me on this. It'll be fine. Let's see. I lost my thing. I'm going to close some stuff here. Oh, there we go. Okay, that was that. And then we need input. There it is. I lost my way for a moment. I still lost my way. Where did I just see that? Okay, it was down here. Screen. Cool. And this is going to need screen 2. Date mouse button state. Okay, let's stick that in here. Alright, so we had a little fix me just in case. this comes back to us at some point. So just, you know, I just took a best guess here. This is actually a thing I think SDL supports, but I'm not going to get into that. We're going to leave that to do there for someone else. That was there beforehand. Okay, let's build. Next event's not used anymore because we no longer troll for text input events. Goodbye. Passing argument 1 of get relative mouse state from incompatible pointer type. Oh, same thing as before. Relative mouse movement is now a floating point. Is this since the last time you called it? Is that what this was? Okay, you know what? I think that you could run the risk of very, very tiny mouse movements causing a problem here. Because we're going to truncate these off, so if they were to accumulate, too bad. But I think probably that's, the risk of that's probably pretty low, so we're just going to go on as if these worked out. So you have to move your mouse more than a pixel at a time, otherwise you're going to lose it on read mouse. That's probably worth fixing at some point, but for now it's probably fine. The likelihood this would ever bite you is pretty low, but you have greater than or equal to 1.0f. Sure, why not? I made a note. Sometimes that's all you can do. Sometimes a fix me is just like, it's not perfect, but no one's ever going to have this problem in real life. Oh, good, everyone. It's SDL num joysticks again. Here we go again. Int count SDL joystick ID pointer sticks equals SDL get joysticks count. And here we come back to this again. Blah, blah, blah. Is gamepad sticks I. That'll work. Okay. Then we free sticks. We're having a lot of fun now. Oops. Oh my gosh, another num joysticks. I feel like I just did this. Here it goes again. And this was, what do we call this thing? It was get joystick device GUID. Is this what we called this thing before? What was this thing called? GUID grep index. What did I call this thing? Get joystick GUID for ID. Okay, that's what it was. For ID, and we have sticks I, so we have the actual ID, we can look it up. If it's that, cool. Break, and then of course don't forget to free sticks. Cool. Yeah, yep, okay, cool. Are we doing it again? We're doing it again. We're just doing it again and again. Device index gamepad. First look for the gamepad. Okay, blah, blah, blah with this again. Okay, if joystick index equals that, it's less than count. Same things as before. What did we just call this thing? Get joystick GUID for ID. Where'd you go? There, count. Okay, so yeah, first, and this needs to be sticks, which I can't spell. Sticks. Cool. And that'll do that. We gotta definitely free this. We're gonna return. Otherwise, otherwise we leak, and we don't want that. And I think... Okay, yeah, sure. So we can free it here because we're done with it. Yep, okay, good. Okay. I don't know if you can hear my dog panting in the background. She just walked into the room, so... That's the problem with it being summer in North Carolina and you having fur. You're always overheating. Oops, here we go. It's okay, puppy. Don't worry about it. Okay, get joystick indents. Here we go again. Getting a little exhausted of joysticks here. Okay, so index, blah, blah, blah. Open gamepad from an index. Guess that needs an ID. Device, index, gamepad. This is one of the ones we just did. Okay. Okay. And it's going to return an index. Okay. So we're going to... Okay. We're going to need our sticks again, even though we probably just allocated and threw this away. It's okay. We're going to get through it. Okay, so... Okay. That's fine. I'm just going to do this. And just in case I see an SDL init down there, let's do the actual call to this down here. Yeah, and there's a return. That saves us some trouble too. Okay, so let's see. Sticks equals that. Index is less than count. Gamepad equals pad sticks index. Okay, yes, maybe, sure. And if that fails, what are you going to do? Gamepad sets a null up here somewhere, right? Let's just set it right here, just in case. So, you know, it's fine, whatever. Gamepad equals null if it's... Yeah, okay. So if that fails... Let's see. Yep, good. The dog is now licking her paw right behind the microphone here. So if you can hear that, I really apologize, but it's one of her favorite pastimes. Okay, cool. Yep, joystick index equals index. Okay, gamepad type. Is this a thing? Let's see. Yeah, it is. Okay, so same deal. We need sticks, index, we still have sticks here. We got free it here. Hang on. Let's try to free this as soon as possible so we don't leak this somewhere by accident. I think probably this is the last time we need it. Sticks, GUID. Nope, need it there. Lied. Sticks. And we check that index is valid here, so we don't have to... Did we check if index was valid? Oh, it would have returned if gamepad was null, so yeah, okay, so that's valid. Okay. GUID is string. I think we're okay here. Sure, why not? Alright, I guess that might be okay. Oh, wait, did I forget to free that? I did forget to free that. Where did that just go? Shoot, where was that? Gamepad. Am I in the right function? Is this where I was before? Yes, this is where I was. So, okay. So we need it there, and then we do not need it after that. So get rid of that. Cool. Yes, good, good. Gamepad name, because it's an actual object at that point. All right, where are we at here? Implicit declaration of... Oh, this should be... Oh, I can't remember the name of this stupid function. Hang on. It was get joystick GUID for ID. Clementine, stop licking your paw, dude. You're killing me. Sorry, honey. Okay. She just grumpily moved across the room, probably so she could lick her paw while no one bothers her. Okay, you all wanted the dog updates. That's really why you've been listening to this for over an hour now. Incompatible types, and okay, that's fine. That was just it didn't know the function. Oh god, another numb joystick. You all are killing me here. Alright, we're gonna do it. It's gonna be fine. I feel like there's maybe been some code duplication here, but that's not my problem. That's somebody else's problem. We're just trying to migrate, so here's this function name again. I can never remember. Okay, so let's change this. This needs to be sticks. This is getting very boring. I hope y'all are still with me here. Alright, gotta free this thing here. I know this is getting a little repetitive. I didn't expect to see the same code over and over again. Alright, so it's doing a bunch of stuff we don't care about. Free that. Okay, good. Is that it? I hope that's it. Please let that be it. Oh no, there's one more. Y'all are killing me. How many times can you possibly do this stuff? Oh, okay, this is okay. We already did this. That was just another one in the same function. We're okay. We just missed one. No need to panic. Alright, good. Oh, well here's something new and refreshing. Void value not ignored as it should be. That's true. Locked mutex does not fail in SDL3. In SDL2 it would only fail if you gave it, I think, maybe a null or something like that, but the only reason a mutex would ever fail is if you gave it an invalid mutex. And in SDL3, an invalid mutex will probably crash because you're touching invalid memory, or it's null, in which case we just pass through and say, okay, you're cool, because sometimes it makes sense. Excuse me. Sometimes it makes sense to have a null mutex when you're just passing through something that hasn't been initialized yet or whatever. So if you're passing through and you gave it a null one by accident, you've got a bug, but that's why that works that way. And yeah, okay, it's just more of this. Lock mutex does not fail. Easy, easy. Good. That's that function. That source code. All right, we are into. All right, iVideo. Implicit declaration of set relative mouse mode. I think it's called set window relative mouse mode. It's a real mouthful now, right? Where's my migration guide at? Lost it in here somewhere. There it is. Set relative mouse mode replaced with set window relative mouse mode, and it needs a window now. Is it still screen? Yeah, okay, we're in this source file now, so it's definitely screen. Set window relative mouse mode. You do not need to call get relative mouse mode state after that. That's probably just. Well, I don't know. That looks like probably a bug that was probably fixed in a later SDL2 that better safe than sorry. So we'll just let it do it. We'll let it do it. It's fine. Yeah, why not? All right. Window event has no member named event. That's true because this has changed. In SDL2, all your window events were one event type, SDL window event, and then there were sub-events underneath that, but that was silly, so now all those are now, all of these things like window exposed, window resized, these are all top-level events now, so so we'll do event type, because all SDL events are a union, and all of these sub-events all start with this, so no matter which one you look at, you can always look for the type. This to-do was here before, that's fine, these are all okay. There is a thing in the Cosnell script in the semantic patch where it always adds a space when it does these. I don't know why. I didn't see anything obviously wrong in the patch script that would do this, but it does, and it drives me nuts. So I'll just go clean those up real quick when I see them. All right. Nope. There we go. All right, more of this. I feel like we're getting a little repetitive here, but we're just going to move as quickly as we can to get through it all. It would be nice if this stuff had been centralized a little bit, but it is what it is. We're just going through with it. Okay. Toggle full, what is this called? Toggle full screen shortcut. Right there. This just needs to point to the event itself. Okay. And there's that again. Okay, let's get rid of this stuff. Toggle full screen desktop deprecated. That's true. Set full Windows full screen now just takes a true or false. So just full screen equals 0. I am assuming full screen is an int. So you don't need to set a flag here. It doesn't work that way anymore. You either turn it on or off. It used to be a flag so you could say either windowed or full screen desktop, but just setting the window full screen when you haven't specified a specific mode is the same as SDL2's full screen desktop. So we should be good there. Unused variable flags, that's right. Yeah, okay, that's good. Dog just sighed. She's bored of me. I'm bored of me too. Let's see. Window event deprecated. Use event window name. I don't think it's called event window name. That might be a typo. Okay, SDL window event is gone, but check for all the window events. SDL event type is greater than or equal to, I can never remember what this is called. Window shown, window hidden. These are the events we want. But we have an event somewhere. There it is. Event window first and event window last. So if it's between these two, and we have them noted exactly what they are. So if it's greater than or equal to the first thing that's a window event, and it's less than or equal to the last event, then it's a window event. And we should totally handle this the way we would anyway. Yep, okay. And then from there, it can be like, if this window is the window ID of screen, check, 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 then handle it like that. Otherwise, it just drops through like normal. All right, so good. All right, yes, SDL renderer info is gone because there's generally only two things people wanted from this. So that means SDL get renderer info is gone too. That's not even the name of the function. Bye. What we actually wanted was a property. I'm trying to remember what on earth the property name is for this. You know, get renderer properties, maybe, is it? Yes, hooray. Okay. All sorts of fun stuff is now hidden under a properties ID, which is basically a key name, a key value store that you can do. And you can see there are lots of different properties. Each of these is a property that you can find on a renderer. Some of them are generic, and some of them are specific to different types, like Direct3D and Vulkan and stuff like that. But the one we actually want is this booger right here. Oh, well, it was right there. Get max texture size number. That's a mouthful. Okay, so let's hold that. We need get render properties, get renderer properties. come here, const int max texture size equals SDL get renderer property, no, SDL get number property, I think is how you say that. And then you get the properties database from that. And then you need, oh wait, no, you get that is the properties database for your renderer. That's the property we want to look for in that database. And as a default, if it's not found, -1. Or if it doesn't report it, as some might not, -1 maybe? Let's go with -1, why not? There isn't, as you can see, they're using this because they want max texture width or max texture height. It turns out that there were no renderers that actually had a difference. It's just max texture size, and the width and height are the same in both of those. And so we're just swapping them out here. If upscale's less than 1 and that's greater than 0, okay, good enough. We use this a lot, okay. Oops. Yep, they wrote it down here too. I knew there'd be another. Alright, good. The other thing that people tend to want from the renderer info was the name of the renderer, like OpenGL or Vulkan or software or whatever, and you can query that too. Or get it from the properties, I think. But I think we have a function so you don't have to go through all this rigmarole for that particular thing, at least. Alright. Alright, there's a linear. There's another set texture scale mode. Set texture scale mode, new texture, SDL scale mode, linear, maybe, I guess. Yeah, good. Alright, you can't look for full screen desktop anymore because it doesn't exist, so the flag is not there. You can look to see if the window is full screen. And it looks like that's probably okay for now. Yeah, I don't think we have a function for that. You just look at the flags. Okay, that's fine. Yeah, that's good. They might not have even wanted necessarily full screen desktop, although they probably did, but it was probably full screen desktop would cover both of the bits for the full screen flag, so I think they're just covering their bases there. Also, it's possible they only use full screen desktop. I'm not really sure. And just scale up the texture to it, which is really the right thing to do with most games. Invalid type argument of blang. Oh, another one of these. SDL get surface palette screen buffer. Okay, yeah, okay. The palette is like an actual palette, I assume. Okay, fine. Oh, here we go again. Do you remember the song? What was it? Width, height, format, pixels, pitch, right? Is that what it was? Don't make me look it up. Width, height, formats, pixel, pitch. I think that's right. I'm going to look, though, real quick, because now I'm nervous I got it wrong. Width, height, format, pixels, pitch. Haha! I love it when a plan comes together. Okay, good. Width, height, format, pixels, pitch. Good. Good. Alright, this is the same thing, but for displays instead of SDL, instead of joysticks. Display ID, pointer, displays, equals SDL get displays. Same idea. Okay, cool. If video display is 0 or is less than 0 or it's greater or equal to the count, yeah, that's fine. Yeah, okay, cool. Free display displays. Let's see if we need that somewhere else before we... I think that might be okay. I just want to check. And the thing is, like, this should theoretically never return 0 for a valid, unless, like, something went terribly wrong, because I think SDL will refuse to admit the video subsystem if there are no displays attached. Theoretically, that could bite you in the butt, but it hasn't yet. So we're hoping for the best. You can dynamically attach and detach a display by plugging it or unplugging it or whatever, but right now we're good. Okay, so cool. And that was just making sure that the index seems reasonable. Center window. In full screen mode, the window position still matters, but we use it to control which display we run full screen on. Yes, that's true. Windowed mode, the desired window position can be specified in the configure file. Okay, cool. Note, SDL has a window position center, but this is useless for our purposes since we also want to control which display we appear on. So we have to do this ourselves. But you don't. So, hang on a second here. What do we call this thing, though? Window position. Oh, centered. I bet what it was. Yep, there it is. There is, in fact, a thing that says just put it on the primary display. But you can specify a specific display. This was true in SDL2 also. I think that was probably just missed. Not dismissed, just missed. Okay. So we do not, in fact, have to do this ourselves. But we do need to know the display it's on for that. Let's check the display bounds of the display. Okay, hang on. It's not free our displays yet then. Hold that thought. This needs to go. Where did you go? Oh shoot, did I just move out of this thing? Oh, there it is. Okay. So we'll leave this as undefined. You can say undefined on a specific display, but we'll just say, if they haven't asked for a thing, we'll just say primary display is probably where you want it. All right, so this will go x equals y equals centered on displays video display. So I'll get the display ID so it can figure out where it should be. It's not an index, it's an ID, like the joysticks. Cool, so now we do not need center window. Undefined we'll leave on that. Same here. Oh, I do kind of feel like this should be undefined display the same way. I mean, if they asked for one, if they didn't ask for one, you're going to end up on video display 0 anyway, the primary display. So let's do it. Is it center window position undefined? Yeah. Okay. Fine. We don't have to free there. We don't have to free there. Let's do that. And if they gave a number that was dumb, then we'll do an undefined display like this. All right, hopefully that works. Cool. Did that. Okay, yeah. All right. This window flags, I presume we're creating this thing. You just want to simply say, never change the screen resolution. That's full screen desktop, but like if you haven't set a mode, that's what you get anyway. This is gonna have to set a mode. Well, we have a display mode thing here. I'm not gonna get into this right now, but X, Y, window position, where's mode? Get current display mode. All right, so I'm going to just put fix me on this for now. Set display mode. All right, so this is just going to be full screen desktop for now, and things are going to go wrong, but we'll deal with that later. We're just going to leave that as a fix me for now because we're at almost an hour and a half, and this is getting ridiculous. So each undeclared to make arguments to function create window. This is true. There is no longer this many. We do not let you set your window position. So the best thing that you can call create windows with properties and set up a key name store that one of those things is the position, and it will create the window at that position. But it is often easier just to create the window hidden and then call SDL set window position screen X and Y, and then just show the window. Whoops. So when the thing finally pops onto the screen, it will be at the position you want it to be. And it's just easier than doing all the property stuff if it's the only property you need to set when creating the window. Okay, cool. There are no renderer flags anymore. I can already see this is going to be an error. It's required to render the... Done. Okay, so we got rid of this because the original intention in SDL3 was that all the renderers would support render targets, but that's not actually true in practice. So that flag is gone, but the best thing to do is just to create a render target and see if it fails. So we'll leave that alone for now. That also means that we cannot request vsync here. Okay, so hold on to that for a moment. Create the renderer. Oh gosh, okay, hang on a second. So theoretically, if we got here, turn on vsync for SDL set render vsync. Renderer. If it's not that and the refresh rate is that, I guess that's okay. Although I don't know that you really want to... Well, okay, it's fine, whatever. Okay, so that'll take care of that thing. The other thing up here was this. Force software renderer. Let's stick a thing up here real quick. Const char render desired renderer null. Null meaning, of course, we don't care. Pick whatever you want. But we can see if it's forcing the software renderer, desired renderer equals software. We have a thing for that. Oh man, hang on. Yeah, STL software renderer. I could have guessed that. But you could also use the string. It's not like it's going to change. So you don't need a flag for that. You don't need vsync for that. Whatever. You can vsync the software renderer too. But and then blah blah blah. Desired renderer. Renderer is not equal null. We don't care. Create renderer. Desired renderer. Because I think what Chocolate Doom does is probably render all the pixels in software to a SDL surface, and then moves that surface to an SDL texture, and then uses the renderer to blip that texture to the screen as fast as possible. Cool. If we cannot find a matching render driver, try again without hardware acceleration. Again, you don't have to do this again. You either got it or you did not. All right, let's see. Let's see if that compiles now. Whoops. I did not think this was going to take longer in the Quake video, but here we are. Alright, this is going to be the same thing again. Mode needs to be a pointer. That is going to be not the thing you think it is. All right, where'd you go? Mode, okay. The problem is video display. Do we still have that somewhere? Displays, but that was up here, so. I mean, the problem is that the displays are... It doesn't keep an ID, so we got to query it again, which is super annoying, but... Alright, we'll just throw it in there, it's fine. Let me return in here, because we got to free this too. I don't know if you can hear that on the microphone. The dog is now snoring, which I should be doing too, but I'm not. Okay, so we got those things. Cool. Where did we... Oh, there it is. Okay. So this needs to be displays, video display. I think IR is like... I think that doesn't return. I think it just kills the thing, so... Just plopping through this real quick, looking for returns. We can probably do this up higher. Oh yeah, look at that. It is a CVAR. Alright. I think that's the only time we do this, so we'll just do that. Okay. Sure. Okay, cool. Mode is a pointer. You bet your butt it is. There we go. That's the only time we use mode, isn't it? Probably. Implicit declaration of function set render integer scale. Oh. I think for now I'm going to just comment this out, because I have a feeling this doesn't do what they think it does. Okay. Who wants to sing the song with height, format, pixels, pitch? Could be like a breakfast cereal jingle or something. I don't know. Frosted Pixels. There's little elves that sing it. I'm losing my mind. It's 2:30 in the morning. Cut me some slack. Okay. Pixel. Did I just type that? Shoot, did I just type that? Diff. Oh man. Yeah, I don't know. I just typed the word pixel. I was thinking about breakfast cereal. Okay, that's fine. That'll fix that. Oops, how did I get into user local? Mistakes were made. Yeah, okay. Buildbot. Ninja. Oh my gosh. Okay, fine. Oh, this one's nearest. That's a refreshing change. Create texture. SDL set texture scale mode. Texture scale mode nearest. For that pixely look. Workaround for SDL 2.14 alt tab bug. Well, I guess we probably don't need that anymore, since we're on SDL3. It looked like they were checking two specific versions, which are very old, so hopefully we fixed whatever the problem was. Goodbye. Unused variable render flags. Yeah, we got rid of that. That's true. Oh, another one of these. SDL get surface palette. Here we go with this again. Create center window. Yes, we got rid of this. Goodbye, technology. Boom. Okay, good. Oh my gosh, are we there yet? Okay, same deal with this. X and Y are now whatever. All right. SDL set window position. Was it HR screen? X and Y. Let's make sure this is hidden. Window hidden until we've set its position. And then we can do SDL show window. Just rehashing here. You've heard me say this stuff earlier in the same video, so just kind of moving through it quickly now. Oh my gosh. Okay. SDL get surface palette. Same deal. Alright, now we're building again. That's a good start. Till we get through it all? It looks like it's just building the games now. There's network stuff. We have that all disabled. Oh, okay. Alright, the whole thing builds with no warning, so that's a good start. Let's see what it does, I guess. I don't know. It doesn't do much of anything. Okay. Oh, you're still here. Okay. I guess I'll hit escape. I don't know. All right. Okay. What's the process ID? Here we go. What are you doing? Are you doing anything? Oh God, what the heck? Okay. Well, we are in swap window. Are we completing the swap window? Yes. Okay, so we're drawing to the screen. We're in finish update. Run frame. Doom loop. Alright, we're running very slowly, whatever's going on here, but... And we're back in swap window. Okay, it looks like the game is running and not drawing anything then, so... Just a black screen. Probably should have done this. Oh, I know, whatever. Kill. There we go. Okay. If it's a black screen, I have an idea. Create surface from... That's for the icon. That's probably not it. It doesn't have a palette. It does not have a palette. What is this thing here? This is a 32-bit, whatever this is for. Screen buffer. That doesn't have a palette either. So we're setting the palette colors on this thing that we just created, but there is no palette for it, so it's just probably... This is probably returning null. And then this is going, oh, it's a null and just returning immediately, and we're not checking errors or anything anyway, so. They're initialized to white. Okay, sure. Wait, what was it? Set surface palette. Man, SDL set... I'm just learning my own library here. Don't mind me. Talking to myself while I do it. Keeps an internal reference palette which can be safely destroyed afterwards. Okay, so we just create this thing, assign it to a surface, and then we can destroy it immediately, and it will hold a reference to it, so it's okay. Create palette number of colors, so let's get a thing here. SDL palette equals null. And since we're just creating this, SDL create palette, we'll give it all 256 colors. Why not? Palette equals that. We don't have to get this because we have the palette right here. And then we can go SDL, what was this thing called? Set surface palette, Set surface palette, surface screen buffer. And then we can destroy the palette because it's keeping a reference to it. Or a copy or whatever it's doing. Okay, good. Where else did I see it create? Oh, where'd you go? Where'd you go? Okay, that's the text screen. Let's go. Not create palette. Where was it? Create surface. All right. That was the window icon. This is probably important. Let's do this. Spell that right? Nope, it's 2 T's every time. All right. Palette equals. You can just create it up here. It doesn't need to be a separate thing. This did not set the colors at all, but it might be setting them later, so we just need to make sure the surface has it when we go looking for it later. Okay. And the reason we do this is so you can share them between surfaces if you need to, and just update the palette once, and it'll update all your surfaces, which is cool. That's not an indexed surface. That one is. Ugh, okay, hang on. Wait. All right, this is the one I want. Here we go. Not that. Okay, let's just do this again. Set surface palette. HR surface. Are we having fun yet? I think we're having fun. And that was part of the other thing. We don't need that. Okay, we're doing great. We're almost there. I feel like we're almost there now. Okay, that'll do that. Yeah, okay, good. That's another icon. And this one we already set. Oh, we don't need, this only needs 16 colors. I'll set palette colors. Number of colors, first color. So, okay, we didn't need 256 on that. So we're good on that. Okay. Let's build that. And let's see if it works. Oh, that's different. Oh my god. All right, we don't have sound because we turned off SDL Mixer, but I mean, keyboard's working. Mouse is working. That's me clicking the mouse. I can hit up, down, left, and right, and it turns. Holding down Alt for a mod key will let me strafe. Okay, this is pretty good. This is some good stuff here. Oh, yeah. Hello, outside courtyard. Oh, I love it. Wow. Oh my god, this brings back so much nostalgia. Hello, Barrel. I just want to hug you. I feel so full of love. Oh, ow. It didn't love me back. How about this one? Boom. Okay, well, first off, gross, but that's it, man. It's running. Wow. Okay, that's it. I mean, I don't know what to tell you about that. Quick game. Oh my god, the text-based upsell screen for the shareware, or whatever. The Ultimate Doom. This is the the upsell screen at the end in text. They have it in there. It's great. They kept it. Oh my god, I love it. How delightful is that? Okay. Wow. Okay, we're at 1 hour and 45 minutes, but that's it. That's Doom. That's Chocolate Doom running on SDL3. Still linking the Fluid Synth, which is the MIDI decoder, but nothing to play music here. So the libc math library, libc itself, and SDL3. That's all it's linking to. So there you go. That's an SDL3 port of Chocolate Doom. It's incomplete because we still need to add audio to it. Because SDL Mixer needs to be moved, and networking because SDL Net needs to be moved over. But we'll do that in a different video because we're running super long here, and I don't want to spend any more time with this tonight, and I'm sure you don't either. If you also happen to be watching this at 2:30 in the morning. Wow. Okay. So yeah, we might have to clean up this thing a little bit, but I mean that's a lot of diff. How big is the diff for this thing now? Just under 4,000 lines of diff. That seems reasonable. It's not bad considering it took us less than 2 hours to get this up and running. So, okay, cool. I'm going to commit this. And tune in later. I'll do the another video or 2 videos. We'll see how long it takes to get SDL Mixer and SDL Net running. All right. Thanks for stopping by.